My remote to my ceiling fan and light stopped working, so I tried a little bit of everything. I turned off the power, turned it back on. I pressed every button and held every button there was to hold for 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and still it was not responding. I also tried turning the power off and back on at the circuit breaker, and then immediately pressing and holding the 2 and 2H button, which I found only one single video out there suggesting this fix with this remote. I tried replacing the batteries, and then I decided I was going to replace the controller. I'm a beginner and I'm not giving professional advice here, so if you decide to move forward, do so at your own risk. Of course, I turned off the circuit breaker to the light, so there was no power to the light or ceiling fan. I wasn't sure if any controller would work, so in order to find this style, I did a search by 6-speed fan with reverse or something like that, and I was able to find a controller that mostly matched. I could see that it had the same number of wires, the same colors, and some of the same connections, so I went ahead and bought it. This is the front side of everything, including the instructions, and the back side of everything including the instructions. I'll put the link in the description. One thing I didn't account for was that there would be 2 female fittings on the white and blue wires rather than a male and a female from both the fan and the controller, so they wouldn't snap together. I probably could have cut both sides off and twisted them together, but I wasn't sure if that would work, and I didn't want to ruin the ceiling fan because that was the more expensive piece. So instead, I cut the male connections off of the old controller, leaving enough wire to install them on the new controller. And then I cut the male fittings off of the new controller for the blue and white wire, leaving enough wire on the controller side to attach them to the wire I took from the old controller. I stripped the sheathing off to expose some wire, twisted together blue with blue, white with white, and added a wire nut for each. And so now my new controller has a male connector which will fit into the female connector on the ceiling fan. One thing I'd like to note is that it's already hard to fit all the wiring under the decorative cover, and this adds a little to that problem. So then I connected white to white, blue to blue, connected the white, black, and red connector, and the main power white and black with the original wire nuts. Turned the circuit breaker and the switch back on. The light lit up, and then I pressed and held this natural wind button for 5 seconds like the instructions indicated, and that is to pair the remote with the controller. The fan started to spin, and then I tested all of the functions. Everything seemed to be in working order. This LED light used to be extremely bright, but I found some way to dampen the light, and that's in a separate video. If you want, check it out. I hope this information was helpful for you and saved you some money. If so, please like and subscribe, and have a blessed day.